Life is filled with questions. There are a lot of things happening to us, happening in our lives and also around us that we do not clearly understand, and so we often ask questions. Coupled with the fact that the human mind, by its very nature, is inquisitive. There is that curiosity, that strong desire to know and to understand. And so often we ask questions about why, how, when, and what. Some of these questions do not have answers readily available for us. And these unanswered questions, in turn, create confusions and doubts in us. Some people may choose to ignore their doubts and carry on with life. Some people will slide into hopelessness and give up. Some also might decide to keep asking questions, looking out for answers, and waiting, especially unto the Lord. And that is the story of the prophet Habakkuk. Habakkuk was a man who asked questions and sought answers. Saddened by what was going on around him at the time, he went to God within the context of prayer and then asked for God's divine intervention and answers. Interestingly, the more Habakkuk prayed, the more the evils increased. And in all this time, God was quiet. God was silent. Out of pains and frustration, Habakkuk cried out, Lord, for how long will I call on you and you will not hear me? I cry out violence everywhere and you're not even ready to save. And that is the part we read today. After a long while, God decided to answer Habakkuk. He offered him hope and reassured him of his presence and his readiness to intervene. But the question is, why did it take God so long to respond to Habakkuk? I don't know. We all know that he has got his own timetable and he has got his own wristwatch. The details of this, how they work, we don't know. But we are certain, people of faith, that guided by his own program timetable and by his own clock, God is never late to any situations, to any circumstances, or for any invitation. However, as human beings, we often try to develop our own strategy, our own way of managing the silence of God. When I went to Nigeria last year, I visited a family. I used to visit them whenever I went to anywhere because they are family members and also close friends. So I told their mom that I was coming and I gave time. When I arrived around 9 o'clock that morning, they told me that their mom is still asleep. He has not got out of her bed. I said, what, 9 o'clock? Okay. I waited and chatted with the other members of the family. After about an hour, I was ready to go. So I told them, it's either you go in and wake her up because I'm not promising any return before I go back to UK. So they went and woke her up. When she came out, she was so tired and exhausted. So I said to her, are you okay? You look so tired. She said to me, yes, I prayed all night and now I'm tired. Why did you pray all night? She said to me, the leader of their group in the church told them that the best time to pray to God in order to get his attention immediately is to pray between 12 midnight and 3 a.m. Because at that time, there is little or no traffic. that people had gone to bed. So God is more or less, he has less to deal with. So at that time, if you call him, he will answer. And he said to me, it has been working for me. God has always answered me when I pray within that time. I said, okay, who am I to judge? We had our discussions and a nice food, and I went away. She didn't know, the poor lady, that while it is 12 midnight in Nigeria, that those in India are busy doing their daily activities. But she was so guided by that strategy and that information that between 12 midnight and 3 a.m., the traffic to heaven is less. It is green, 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 green. That is how she deals with her God's silence in her life. Oh, woman. As I said, I didn't comment. Today, let us not concentrate on the strategy of this lady. Let us concentrate on how Habakkuk, the prophet, dealt with God's silence in his time. Habakkuk understood that God's silence doesn't mean God's absence. It does not mean also lack of knowledge on the side of God. But God hasn't said anything doesn't mean that he doesn't know what you are passing through or what I'm passing through. It doesn't also mean a lack of interest, that he is no longer interested in me. No. And that was why when Habakkuk brought his concerns and questions to God, in chapter 2 of his work, of his book, he said something significant. He said, I am here in your presence with all my questions. I'm not going to leave your presence until you answer me. I'm going to be here. Now, remaining in God's presence within this context doesn't mean that he was there physically in the presence of God. It means that Habakkuk was saying to God that as I bring before you my questions and my concerns and my doubts, even your silence will not sever my relationship with you. It's not going to cut our ties. I will still be with you. I will remain in relationship with you until the time you choose to answer me. Because as human beings, our natural reactions or natural reaction and tendency to someone we feel that is giving us the cold shoulder or someone who is not giving us the expected attention is that we walk away, we get upset, and we walk away from them and damn the consequence. But please, dear friends, if you try that with your friends, please do not apply such principle in your relationship with God. Rather, let us apply the principle of Habakkuk, remaining there, remaining in contact with him, remaining in relationship with him. Because even in his silence, God communicates. Only that sometimes we are given to something we have in our heads, our expectations, that we don't know that in his silence, we can also find answers to what we said. Finally, if you feel that God is giving you the cold shoulder, he's not answering, please do not take it personally. It is not directed against you. No. He's not doing it to punish you. I don't think so. I think he's working out his plans according to his own timetable, according to his providential plans. And that is why, going back to Habakkuk again, when he brought his concerns and questions to God, he waited. And at the end, God did not disappoint him. Because as we read in today's reading, the second part of it, when God wanted to reply to Habakkuk, he said to him, if my promises, if my interventions seem slow, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not lie. Just wait. And at the end, God said to Habakkuk, the man of faith will be justified. So, dear friends, I don't know how you deal with the silence of God, but the one thing I will tell you is, it is difficult to deal with God's silence. It could be frustrating. It could also be excruciating and depressing. Well, I don't know how you want to deal with it. Whether you want to go with the strategy of this, my friend, my family friend, to pray from 12 midnight to 3 a.m. when you think the heavens and the traffic are less. I don't know. Or you would like to adopt the attitude of Habakkuk to keep waiting. As I said at the beginning, and with that I end. When people seek answers and they don't find, some will decide to ignore their doubts and keep on with life. Some may slide into hopelessness and give up, bitter resignation. Some will like to stay there, stay in contact with God, looking forward for answers, because they know that even in his silence, he communicates.